Oh, comeback champions. Oh, it's so exciting to see you here today. My name is Samantha Mitchell. And so my purpose here today with you all is to fuel you with as much confidence as possible so that you could get to your dream destination. So I celebrate you all for taking time out for yourselves today and to really just focus on your journey and the growth that's forthcoming because you're making these investments in yourself. And so I celebrate you. And so I have a presentation that I'm going to pull up for you all. So let me pull that up. All right. So this is really all about taking flight. And I'm here to be your co-pilot in command, as you all are going to be pilots today. Who's ready to take this flight? All right. So our focus for today, we'll talk a little bit about my background and my journey. We'll talk about why confidence matters. We'll get to take that flight, right? Look, we all love a good flight because on the other side of the flight is something or somewhere amazing, right? We'll get to talk about self-work because those of you who know me, you know that I'm an advocate of being in the work, and listening alone is not enough. And so we have to do the work. And then just some ways for us to stay connected. All right, so here, this is just an overview of my personal runway. And so we all have a runway, and this is really exciting for me because I recently built this. There's a lot of new things on here, and I'm super excited to share it with you all for the first time. And one of the things I just want to start with is that with our journey to our dream destination, fueled by confidence, one of the things that we always encounter is turbulence. Every flight has turbulence. The question is, what do we do when turbulence shows up? Are we going to ride it out? Are we going to pivot our attitudes, AKA our altitude a little bit? Like, those are our two choices, right? Because we're comeback champions. We're not going to give up. And so we really just have to be equipped, because for everything that we're going to do, 9 times out of 10, we're going to experience some turbulence. And so just a little bit about me and my background. So I'm a mom of 2. I have a 21-year-old soon to be and a 12-year-old. I've been married for 13 years. But if you ask my husband, he will tell you it's 22 years, because he says that he has always known that I was going to be his wife. So he counts all of the years. So there's that. So going all the way back, I was born in Jamaica. And so for the New Yorkers out here, not Jamaica Queens, I was born on the island of Jamaica. And I migrated to the United States when I was 7 years old. And so turbulence, right? When I moved here, I had to pivot. I didn't live with my grandmother anymore. I started living with my mom and my dad and my siblings. And so that was new. That was outside of my comfort zone. And so I had to learn that new environment, that new culture, new school, new friends, like new everything. And so fast forward into high school, when everyone's figuring out what they want to do with their lives, right? I had to figure out what I wanted to do with mine. And I absolutely loved working with my hands. And so I told myself that I wanted to be an auto mechanic. And when I said that, I got a brochure from the College of Aeronautics in New York. And the brochure, they were recruiting new students for aircraft maintenance technician. And I was like, this is cool. I think this supersedes being an auto mechanic. So I decided to pursue that route. And so I went to I started college. What do you think I encountered? Turbulence. I was the only female there, you guys. And let's just say, being the only female there was a lot to overcome. And because I was the only female, like, I really just had to be steadfast in my studies because I did not want to be that girl. So that was easy, right? No. So fast forward to graduation, and I share this with you because it's well connected with just significance in aviation. And so when I graduated, I was the female with the top GPA. And so I got the Bessie Coleman Award. Now, when I was in college, I had no idea who Bessie Coleman was. And Bessie Coleman was the first Black female pilot to earn her license, her international pilot's license. How cool is that? And so it was just, and that was back in 1921. And we recently, pivotal moment in aviation history for Black women. American Airlines led the first flight that was an all Black female crew. How cool is that, right? I was super excited. And so, but look at that, 100 years later, Bessie Coleman's legacy was recognized and celebrated. There's so many people who are not aware of all of the awesomeness that she's done. And so coming out of school, I wanted to work for the best of the best. So my dream was to work at the Boeing company. And so I got a job at Boeing. What do you think happened? More turbulence. Actually, I didn't even get the chance to get the turbulence because my flight got canceled. Remember, I told you I was born in Jamaica. And in wanting to work for Boeing, I needed to be a US citizen. And so I wasn't able to do it. So I was at a crossroad. I had to make a choice, like we always do, right? So I decided that I did want it bad enough and that I was going to go forth and get my citizenship. And so I got the citizenship, or started the process. For those who are immigrants, you know that it's a lengthy process. So I still needed to get a job. So I applied for a job and I got a job at Air Jamaica. Look at that, full circle, right? Became the first female mechanic there. No turbulence, right? Being the first female mechanic at Air Jamaica, absolutely no turbulence. There was so much turbulence. I learned quickly that there were so many people who did not want to see me win. And I could share stories for days, but I will say this, that in that encounter, my biggest takeaway was to always create strategic relationships. And so I was able to create a strategic relationship there that helped me from my whole career. And so fast forward, I get my citizenship. And so now I'm landing my dream job at the Boeing company. And so I started Boeing. I'm no longer a mechanic out on the flight ramp. I'm in corporate in an office setting. No turbulence, right? Lots of turbulence. So much turbulence. I was the only woman on my team, oftentimes the only Black woman on my team. And so there was just a lot to overcome with that. And so I highlight all of the blue because most people will ask me, Sam, you're doing a lot. How do you do it all? And honestly, guys, as I map this out, like the blue are all things that are done in tandem. But I want to show you the pivot with this and me really being on my runway. I highlight in 2013, that's when I started my personal development journey. And that was just, that was a game changer, but I wasn't consistent. And so for those of you who have friends who they're really focused on their personal growth and development, you know that when you're the person doing it, people think you're crazy. How many of your friends think you're crazy? Like, why are you doing all these things? You're absolutely nuts. And so my husband was ahead of me. And so now I finally caught up. So it was a game changer for our relationship. And so in 2014, that's when my husband and I opened up our Anytime Fitness franchise. I was still working full-time at Boeing. And we served our community, and I was coaching out of my club for years. But you want to know what? There was turbulence there too. I mean, if you have a business, you know that there's always turbulence. And I was working full time. We had our kids, and I was coaching out of the club. I was just showing up all of the time. And so I really had to figure out how to remove myself, but I felt like it couldn't continue without me. How many of you guys feel like you have to be a part of something? And so my husband was like, Sam, you got to get out of there. And in trying to get out of there, COVID helped me to remove myself. And so now he runs it full time and I'm all the way out. And so I went on, and 2022, it was just a pivotal year. That's when I went all in on my personal growth and development. And I became a best-selling author for my book, The 3 Keys to Unlock and Unleash Your Confidence, the Women Inspiring Nations, that's coming out in a couple of weeks. And with writing the book, it really just opened up doors for my speaking career, more turbulence, right? Learning who to find as your coach and all of the things. But I share all that to say, in doing all that, I discovered my passion. I've been in aviation for all of these years. I witnessed the pivot with Bessie Coleman. And then as I was starting this speaking career, that's when I identified that I needed to create the space for other Samanthas, the Black females that are in aviation, so that they know that they're not alone, that there's mentorship and sponsorship and scholarship opportunities, and just the ability to grow aviation and create awareness for the youth so that they're able to want to be a part of this awesome industry. And so all that to share with you is that every single major milestone on my runway for me to take off and land and take off and land, always turbulence. And so we get to choose. What are we gonna do when this turbulence shows up? I always chose to ride it out, and it was not easy. It got easier when I identified, or I got more acclimated with my personal development. And I identified that things weren't happening to me, that they were truly just happening for me. Yes. And so why does confidence matter? You guys, how many times have you been in the airport, you looked out the little window and you see the aircraft being fueled up? How many times, right? The fuel is what allows this aircraft to take off. The confidence that you have is your fuel that allows you to take off so you can reach your goals, so you can get to your dreams. So it's really, really important to focus on that internal belief that regardless of what happens, that you're able to overcome it. You're able to move through life, your career, your relationships, without knowing all of the answers and being able to deal with all of the challenges, knowing that the turbulence is going to be there, but you're still able to take action. And so when it comes down to it, this between our 2 ears, mindset is everything. And in the event that you have all of the skills and your mindset is not aligned and you're doubting yourself, there's a lot of resources that we're able to do. I practice affirmations regularly. So when I'm in a space where I'm not feeling confident, I just pivot and I start to affirm to myself. And so it's time to get in the cockpit. And so this is me back when I started at Air Jamaica in the cockpit. This was an Airbus, it's not a Boeing, don't tell anyone, right? And so really just want to take you in and let you be the captain. I'm your co-pilot. I'm here to guide you. And so I'm going to take you on the flight. And so F is all about focusing on your mindset, that your internal belief. This is what's going to drive you to take off because you know that you can do it. You're able to identify that your subconscious, even though it's established from the time that you're created till 7 years old at about 80%, that you get to choose to reprogram it, right? L is for leave your fears behind. When fears are grounded, dreams take flight. And I want your dreams to take flight. And that means we need to learn to manage those fears, acknowledge them, and press on. Eyes, imagine yourself at your dream destination. Go back to the inner child when you were 3 years old and you were all about dreaming and visualization, and nobody could tell you anything because you saw it. And guess what? Your mind does not know what's imagined versus what's real. So if you imagine it enough, it becomes your reality. So we could practice that. The G's for gratitude. Gratitude is a must. Gratitude attracts abundance. And so it's important that we incorporate gratitude practices in our day-to-day practices. Have faith. All right, you guys are all, most of you've been in an aircraft. You get in the aircraft and you don't know who's flying this thing, but you have faith. So I need you to have faith. T is for trusting yourself. All of the external validation is cool, but until you believe in yourself, that's when it really matters. And so I always love a good challenge, you guys. And so the self-work challenge. For 30 days, identify a category where you will leverage 10% more confidence. And so you can choose it in a group, in the area of relationships, finance, your body image, health and wellness. Pick a category and make sure that you're leveraging your 10% more confidence. And I want to hear all about it, right? So for instance, if I tell you that I want to tap into 10% more confidence for my health and wellness, you guys, my blood pressure was not that amazing. And so with 10% more confidence, I was able to do a little bit of research, pivot my nutrition, I dropped some weight, and now my blood pressure is amazing. So I'm maintaining that standard, right? And so we identify a thing for ourselves. It doesn't have to be one of these categories, but you get to choose. And so our parting quote, I just gave you an action. And so when we follow effective action with quiet reflection, from that quiet reflection comes even more effective action. My man, Peter Drucker, I absolutely love this. And so really just focusing on taking action, but reflecting as well. And I want to stay connected with you all. And so my Instagram is Sam2Transform, and I'm on Facebook as Samantha Mitchell. And the hashtag ConfidenceMBA. Confidence is your fuel to take flight to your dreams. I'm super excited for you. Thank you for your time today. I look forward to your growth and your flight and hearing all about it. Take care.